The Try This album is a heartbreaking one for me. I didn't want to be a part of that record. Alicia really wanted me to be a part of it, and I didn't have a good feeling about it. I said, you know what? We did Missundaztood. Let's leave it on a high note. We'll come back around next record. Go make someone else famous, you know, go find another new person. And she was, I think, and it's very obvious reasons, but she took it a little personal and was very persistent, you know, and being that this is the girl that really just, because of her, changed my life around, gave me my new chapter in life, I started feeling kind of guilty about not being a part of it. And she really, really wanted me there. So I said, okay, this is how I feel, that if we do this, it can't be a garage punk album. It's going to be, everybody's going to expect for your next record to be a pop, you know, garagey punk album. And if you do that, I think it's really going to, you know, it's going to send out the wrong message. You know, if you're going to do, if we're going to do this, it's got to be rock and roll. It's got to be old school. It's got to be just have this whole, you know, whole thing that nobody's doing. Okay. Literally moved into her house. I brought the studio to her this time. Her whole entire house was mic'd. I had a big console in there, tape machines, everything. We were recording drums in her walkway. As soon as you walk into her house, the drums were set up right there. It was great. It was great. But I don't know what happened. Something happened. I think Missundaztood, I know it gave me an ego. It really, all of a sudden, I felt, how should I say, vindicated. Like everybody was calling me a one-hit wonder in my band, you know, and I didn't even mean to fucking do that, you know. I didn't even want to be in that position. It just kind of happened. And I know how talented I am. I know who I am. I know no matter what, I will always be okay. Put me on the bottom, I will climb my way back up, you know, because I have real heart about what I do. And Alicia, and having that record, I told her it was going to sell 10 million records. In fact, if you get this and you see this, you owe me, I believe, a Bentley. Because I said you had to buy me a Bentley if it sells 10 million records. And she's like, no. And I'm like, this record's going to sell 10 million records. I know it. And anyways, so when it happened and it was going huge, I started getting like, I knew it, you know, I'm badass, I'm great, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I'm a controlling person. And I believe I started trying to control the issue a little too much this time around. So Alicia I don't think was ready to make Try This either. She had to, because that's what labels do. They make you, you know, they give you all the time in the world to work on things, and then all of a sudden, when it's really successful, they give you the shortest amount of period to put out the next record. That's why a lot of records just flop the next time around. Missundaztood to me is Alicia's first record. I don't count the other one at all. And I think she wasn't ready. I think I was really intense and really dead set on her being the new Janis Joplin. And with this Zeppelin-y type of music behind her. And we kept batting heads. We would have a great time, and then she would be gone. And I was feeling like, well, what am I doing in her house? I'm making my own record at this point because she was never there. And I would be singing all the tracks down. So I would listen back to the tracks to make sure I had them. And then it'd be Linda singing, Linda singing, Linda singing, Linda singing. And I was like, And I sat there and I cried. And like, I'm not working on my fucking album. I'm working on her album, and here's this album that sounds like it's a Linda Perry fucking record. I'm not ready for this kind of shit. You know, because I don't want to be a part of that. But in my heart, I still was holding on a little bit as being an artist. So when I was hearing it, it was making me emotional. And when Alicia wasn't there, it was pissing me off. And then she shows up with some tracks that she'd been doing on the road with Tim Armstrong. And what is it? Garage punk pop. And I was like, oh, you have time to be doing that, but you don't have time to be doing this. So I packed up all the stuff, and I was so angry because I said to myself, you knew this was going to happen. You knew it. That's why I didn't want to be a part of it. It was my gut feeling not to do that album. That album, that's how we lost our relationship. Because I was so livid, I really gave attitude after that. I was really like, what the fuck? You're going to do this crappy fucking punk bullshit? That's so stupid. And the songs that we have here are like fucking epics, you know. And so the songs that, you know, she wanted to keep on the record was Waiting for Love. Waiting for Love, basically, that was a whole album of that style of music. More rockin' numbers. And then there was some stuff that I guess the two that she did pick, there's other ones that she used. I could care less for those songs. But the Waiting for Love, there was this whole thing that was happening. It was turning into a concept album, you know, and the vocals I did have on her were huge. It was like, nobody is doing this shit at all. Oh my fucking God. It was like my dream from her voice. And then I realized I'm trying to live through her. And that's what happened. I was trying to live through Alicia, and I kind of backed up, she backed up, and we kind of went our own separate ways. We've talked and stuff like that, but we have not been connected. And then just recently, we just started connecting again. And I believe it made me bitter when people asked me about Try This, I was bitter. And I was like, it sucks, you know? And I feel horrible about it because I didn't mean for it to be a negative situation. It was just that I was really pissed off. And I felt kind of betrayed in a sense.